our next article is going to be continuing along right in this same vein of Ethereum. And this one is a little bit more interesting to me. As I said, that first article on Vitalik was spurious in my opinion. But speaking of early Ethereum whales, an Ethereum wallet address that was loaded with 530, that's 30 with a 30, Ethereum, 530,000 Ethereum from the ICO presale has now dumped over half of that amount since September 25th. Now, this massive cache of tokens has been untouched since the inception of Ethereum. That is, until 83 days ago. Now, according to Etherscan, on September 25th, the account saw its first transaction out of 45.2 thousand Ethereum. Then roughly every 2 weeks, there was another token movement out of the account with values ranging between 48,000 to 63.2 thousand Ethereum. Finally, the dumping did seem to pause on November 8th until 4 days ago, when another 60,000 Ethereum was sent to a smart contract. Now, a smart contract, you might say. Well, we just talked about that obfuscation via MakerDAO, Oasis, that Vitalik chose to use for his last sale. So this is a fairly well-known method of obfuscating your desire to sell by simply moving your funds into a smart contract. Now, the latest transaction, the sum of the latest transaction is approximately worth $7.9 million as of today. As to why this whale account was static for so long before recently just suddenly deciding to now move over half of its tokens is, of course, unclear. We can only speculate. As is whether the dumping will continue or not. Now, the smart contract to which the most recent transaction was sent to was created in March and has only received 7 transactions, 2 of which were from this whale's account. Now, of course, Ethereum has taken an absolute bashing over the last few days, sinking to 10-month lows, along with a majority of other high-profile altcoins, including Ripple, EOS Litecoin, and of course, the beloved Binance coin. Although, as Vitalik revealed recently, the Ethereum Foundation, and as we just discussed, Vitalik have sold a good deal of Ethereum when the coin peaked in late 2017 and early 2018. But does this address sell indicate an early whale who hung on? I mean, imagine this, a whale who's hung on through the highs and lows of Ethereum, now capitulating and getting out while they can. What do you guys take away from this? What is your guys' pullback from this, right? Because that is a very interesting mind to be in. That is a very interesting point to consider, right? And this forces us to have the larger conversation of the state of the market. This forces us to have that conversation because there are kind of two main philosophies that you can fall into, and that has nothing to do with cryptocurrency in general. It has to do with the coins, the big coins that we know now, right? And on one hand, you have the argument that, listen, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and maybe things like, God forbid, Ripple or Litecoin, all of these things are sound, are valid. They have the network effect. They're the coins. They have great development. They're going to move forward and grow, and they're going to have many, many, many more runs left in them. So accumulating them at these lows is a no-brainer. You've got the government trying to suppress their prices. You've got traders who are panicking. You've got you have a lack of widespread adoption, even though adoption does grow every single day and more people become aware of cryptocurrency. But that fundamentally positive as far as these coins are. Is that, they're at lows, we're investing, we're accumulating, and Bitcoin and Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, these things are here to stay for a very long time. And then you have and that's one, and there's a lot of subsets of that kind of thought, but you have this other mentality, this other thought, which is, listen, man, the first rollouts of any technology never make it to the finish line. Like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, yeah, man, they were exciting and cool and neat. They were the first ones. They had kind of the first mover advantage and they peaked, but look at the charts, man. They're on their way down. Lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And now this would tend to fit into that argument that, man, even big timers from the beginning are looking at the charts. They see the writing on the walls and they're using this opportunity to get out while they can. That doesn't mean the cryptocurrency is dead. It just means that what we're going to see is a huge wave of new coins, right? We're going to see government coins and corporate coins and new open source projects, and who knows who's going to pick the winner, right? It could be it could be any of these coins coming out. I don't personally agree with that, although I think there's a nugget of truth in there in the fact that we don't know exactly what coin will be widely spread and adopted. I know that Bitcoin has the best chance, and I know that Bitcoin, to the best of my knowledge, holds the best to the ethos of security, privacy, and decentralization. But of course, I am interested and invested in other projects that attempt to do I won't say the exact same thing, but attempt to tackle the problem of decentralization, privacy, and security in novel ways. I want the world to be a better place. I would be more than pleased, if anything, if Bitcoin's the one that takes us there and crosses the finish line, which I think is a good probability that it will. I think we will see in 20, 30, 50 years, things like CBDCs and have options like Bitcoin, and most likely have options like corporate coins. It just depends on how regulation kind of comes out. But it will take a very long time, barring violent revolution, which never ends well. I never advocate for violence, that we will see the eradication of the central banks. So I think we got to evolve beyond them. The idea that we can just, flip the switch and overthrow them, I think is naive at best. We need to get better as a society to the point where we no longer need them. And things like Bitcoin, as they grow in adoption, help us get there because people see the alternative. And we can do away with this narrative that's been beaten into our heads from the media and from the news and from the world that humanity is inherently evil. Humanity is inherently neutral. A child is inherently neutral. A child can grow to be an angel or a devil. It just depends on what conditioning you put into them, right? And we're conditioned to fear our fellow man. We're being conditioned to not like our fellow man. We're being conditioned to withdraw, to isolate, to not connect, to utilize turnkey solutions, to trust the government, to be weak, to be small. That's not the future. The future is connection, freedom, hope. Pretty clear to see that. What future do you guys want to live in? Strive for that future. Let's build it together. Bitcoin helps us get there. Things like Bitcoin help us get there. Things like Ripple do not. End quote.